Hi everyone, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I am your host, as always, John Correa.
And I'm your co-host, Neil Widener.
Download the ASP Unlimited app for all the content you love from Active Self-Protection and more with no interference from YouTube. No ads, no age gates, exclusive videos, seminars, classes, and more on iOS, Android, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Android TV. Hit the link in the description or download ASP Unlimited from your app store today.
This is out of Conquista in Brazil. The guy there, look at the right on the dark gray car. This guy comes up to this car and starts chirping at him. I've sped it up for the sake of time. And they start having an argument. The guy in white, the white shirt, is going to grab his phone and then throw his phone down on the ground all pissed off. Well, that gets the driver out of the car and a Donnybrook ensues. A fracas, a brouhaha. So the guy in the stripy shirt was the guy that was inside the car, and the guy in the white shirt's the one who came up and grabbed his phone. Well, the guy in the white shirt is much better at fist fighting. And so the guy in the striped shirt, who had every right to go and say, hey man, give me my phone back, though we don't know how this started, right? I do want to say we don't know how this road rage incident began. Guy in the green shirt's trying to keep them apart. All right, enough. But the guy in the white shirt's going to come grab his phone again and bean it off of his head, which pisses striped shirt off, but he's not very good at fighting. So he's going to fall on his face, get stomped and punched for that, and take a little bit more abuse, get beat in the head with his phone. And then we're going to see white shirt off screen, and our guy in the green shirt, I'm going to speed it up for the sake of time again. He then is going to console this guy. It's okay, buddy. You're all right. Let's just call it a day. Get in your car, go on your way, and have a nice day. Now, green car there in the middle. That's white shirt. The green car there in the middle that now is at the very top of the screen. White shirt is going to drive across the block and then get out of his car and start walking back like he wants another fight. That is going to make stripy shirt is going to see him walking back from the top there. And our guy in green shirt's going to be like, no, man, I'll keep him away. Dude, you stay away. Now watch what stripy shirt does. He's then going to get in his car and decide, you know what? Screw that guy. And he is going to accelerate into him and blow green shirt up and send him sprawling. Watch at the very top here. He is then going to turn around while white shirt comes running back to see what's going on with his friend and to check in on his car. And as he gets close to that guy is going to run him over in the parking lot as well. The news stories that I've linked in the description say that the police have figured out who that driver is, that the two guys who got run over, one was treated at the scene, the other one is in intensive care. And that's where this one ends. Neil gets to do an awful lot of reading of the comments here at Active Self-Protection. And we read all of the comments in the app, every single one. And those tend to be pretty good. Neil, on YouTube, maybe a little different.
It's not, people are not as nice on the YouTubes as they are in the app, but it's always fun. Well, it's not always fun. It's always interesting, let's say that. And I spend a good portion of my day communicating with people in the comments.
So, be nice, be kind, be professional, be a good, sane, sober, moral, prudent commenter, would you? Well, Neil, here's another case where we could use our song Road Rage is Stupid, right? Like, stay out of these if at all possible. And I will say here that the white shirt guy definitely escalated things by stealing this guy's phone. We would call that robbery. He used force to take that guy's property, and that in the United States would qualify as a robbery. And does the stripy shirt guy have the right to stop the guy from stealing his phone? Yes, he does. And white shirt here, even if they were in some kind of argument, I can't justify what he did here.
There's no justification here at all. And like you said in the lesson, when you were doing the play-by-play, John, we don't really know what started, if there was a fender bender or somebody got cut off or whatever, but something made the guy in the striped shirt stop, and something made the other guy get out of his car and come approach. And so as I watch this, I don't see any good guys in this scenario. I see a bunch of bad decisions being made, and then they just snowball into somebody landing in the ICU.
I agree with you 100%. I don't think either of these guys end up qualifying as the good guy here. Green shirt, I think that it doesn't look like he's an aggressor to anyone. He's trying to break things up. He's trying to kill the animosity here. And so I'd say he's the good guy, but there's a lesson there too that he probably, I think, is the one who ends up in ICU here. And so there's some lessons there for that. So listen, stay out of road rage, friends. Don't take people's property. Remember, keep your hands to yourself, leave other people's things alone, and be kind to one another, right? That's Tim Cotton from, he retired from the Bangor, Maine Police Department. Now, Our guy in the striped shirt comes out, fine. If you feel like you want to stop him from stealing your property, that's totally legitimate, but can you fight? Can you actually do something about it? Well, the problem for a stripy shirt is that white shirt is better at fighting, but we are tool users. I would not justify in any case a firearm in this particular case, but I think a good OC spray would have been very valuable here, man.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. Well, OC isn't legal in my whatever state, country, or anything like that. We know this isn't in America, but this kind of stuff happens in America all the time, and OC is available here. And so in this case, as you're backing up and you've got some space, you don't have a ton of time to go to an OC spray, but you've got some time. There's other lessons in here as well, John, is that, if you're driving around town, if you have air conditioning, depending on how hot it is, have your windows rolled up, have your doors locked. People can't reach in and steal your things if you got your window rolled up.
This whole thing doesn't happen if we don't have road rage incidents, and even if a guy gets pissed off, if your windows are up and your doors are locked, he can't reach in and grab your phone. So you do not have to accept every invitation to fight that you're given. You can simply decline the invitation and drive off. That's okay, and be the bigger person. Also, if you live in a jurisdiction that OC spray is illegal, in a country where that's the case, and again, this could have been in Cleveland, this could have been in New Orleans, this could have been in Phoenix, Arizona, could have been in Mitchell, South Dakota for that matter. And listen, if you can't have an OC spray, you better be able to fight if you're going to get into these kinds of things, and that means you better have some skills. And I know some people are like, well, I was raised with 4 brothers. Okay, but that doesn't mean you know how to fight, and that doesn't mean somebody who really wants to hurt you can't do so. And Stripe Shirt found that out the hard way. We talk about this, Neil, and I know it's a really kind of worn out trope that, you get over the F around line and you end up finding out. Well, he kind of did here.
Yeah, he just took a beating, and and I think he was trying to retreat and trying to get away. But if you're getting your ass handed to you, pardon my mouth to my grandkids, if you're getting beat like that, turn and run. Don't back away, because we can already see this guy can't walk all that very well forward, but he's going to be in worst case trying to back up and protect himself. Just turn and run away. Get some distance from this guy and get away from him, because he is clearly at this point the aggressor. He isn't going to just hit you once and be done with it. He wants to administer a beating, so make him at least run a little bit so he's tired when he starts pounding on you.
And you notice here, what it looks like to me is that our white shirt here is going to grab his phone and hit him in the head with it. That's what it looks like. He hits him in the head with his phone. If in this moment our stripy shirt guy drew a firearm and shot the guy right here, I think that you might be able to make a case that that's justified, because he's using a weapon that's much, the phone has turned into a weapon. Remember, anything's a weapon if you hold it right. He's using that. That's more likely hits me in the head with it. It's going to put me in the hospital. Maybe, right? But you're going to spend a lot of money, and you are going to spend a lot of days looking at serious charges if you do. All right. I think, again, I hear this in the comments all the time. Somebody's like, well, I'd have just shot that guy when he was punching me in the face. Man, you shoot somebody in the middle of a road rage incident like this who's unarmed, you better have some strong arguments why you did that you had an objective, reasonable evidence that you were afraid for your life, not just for taking a beating, but for dying, because otherwise you're going to spend an awful lot of time, in a state-funded gated community. And I'm not defending White Shirt here. White Shirt is a jerk. He is absolutely an offender here too, but it doesn't give you the right to become the offender as well.
It doesn't. And the other thing to consider is the stripy shirt guy stopped. He did not have to stop. So he didn't, he's not completely innocent in this thing. No matter what happened, he stopped and allowed this whole thing to go. He had multiple chances while he was still in his car to drive away, or to never have stopped at the beginning. So, so if you did decide in this instance to pull your gun and shoot this guy, the other guy is going to have a lawyer. The other guy is going to hire a witness, an expert of some sort. And you're going to spend a ton of money to defend your freedom, when the easiest way to defend your freedom was with the gas pedal when you were still in the car.
Yep. Props to Green Shirt here for trying to de-escalate this problem. I think he's the only good guy in this whole thing. He's trying, okay, man, you're okay. You got your stuff. Everything's good. We're okay, fine. Now, White Shirt decides to come back. I'm not defending him at all. And I think right up until this point, I'm Team Stripe Shirt. I think Stripy Shirt right up until this point is our defender. And I'm like, man, not knowing how it started, okay, fine. But I want you all to recognize that it's possible to go from being the defender to the offender if you don't control your emotions, if you don't control your ego, if you don't go, oh yeah, that guy just beat me up and that's not fair and now I'm gonna punish him. Remember, we can use force protectively. To protect is okay, but not to punish. The second we go into punishment, Neil, this guy becomes an offender and he's gonna spend decades in prison for this.
You know, I have this conversation in the comments pretty regularly about how fast person can swing from the defender to the offender, and just because they were the good guy to begin with, and maybe the other guy started it, but there's just enough argument and there's just enough cloudiness to this to say, listen, I don't know that this guy ever was completely the defender, even if we would give him that. But the second he got behind the wheel and floored it, I mean, that was a decision that he made. And, murder charges can happen can come from the decision we make in the second or split seconds. And in this case, he's lucky neither of these guys died. And one of them being in the ICU means that potentially this could still be a murder.
It could still end up being a murder. So again, control your ego, control your emotions, because I don't want this to happen to you, right? I want you to recognize, man, I got to stay in control of me. Now, white shirt here, I mean, I don't feel bad for white shirt. He's a jerk. He's an aggressor. He's aggressive. But look at what happens. Our striped shirt makes the bad decision. I'm going to go punish these guys, and ends up hitting the green shirt guy who wasn't an aggressor at him. He ends up injuring a person who tried to help him. So that bystander there is a good person, and he ends up putting him at least on the street like this and causing him grievous bodily injury. So that is at the very least aggravated assault, or I don't think there's a jurisdiction here in the United States, given that he turned around and hit the other guy again, who's probably not going to charge this with attempted murder, Neil.
I really think so. The turning around just shows that, he really wanted to put some hurt on the guy in the white shirt. And it doesn't matter how good you are at Frogger, it's hard to miss, to get out of the way of a speeding car. And it could be, I think there'll be a lot of people that say, just dive out of the way at the last second. When a car's moving, 15 to 30 miles an hour, and somebody's in control of that car trying to hit you, it is hard to get out of the way. The guy was lucky to get out of the way the first time. But I don't want to defend a white shirt guy at all. However, he may have avoided getting hit by that car if he would have just run and got back in his car as the guy, after he avoided the first hit. And they could have avoided all of this had he stayed in his car and left the scene and not come back.
Well, and white shirt is responsible for his own actions too, okay? So he should never have come back to the scene. But recognize that for stripy shirt, this is a second incident. This is a second aggression. This is a second encounter. So the other guy, this started a new one is the problem, because they were both away from him in that moment. And the fact of the matter is, stripy shirt then turns around, you can just see in the corner here, and then mows down the guy in the white shirt. You got to ask the question in that moment. Can he articulate a threat of death or great bodily injury from white shirt at the moment that he struck him? Absolutely not. I don't see it. He's in his car. He has the ability to flee from this, so he's got what we call preclusion problems. And this guy, I'm sure it's not better for him in Brazil. In the United States, he is looking at probably 2 charges of attempted murder here, or 2 charges of aggravated assault here, probably a bunch of enhancements with that. And so he's looking at 20 years, 30 years in prison. And I know people are like, well, sometimes people, we're protecting criminals too much. Who's the criminal here? Because he became the criminal when he decided to use force punitively and to prove a point to the guy. And that's not good, man. And Neil, that's what differentiates us from psychopaths, is that we only use force when we absolutely have to protect ourselves.
And we see it all of the time. And as defenders, and people say, well, it's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. You shouldn't have to defend yourself. But the laws that we live in and the land that we live in right now says that we can't defend ourselves against something that we've created or something that we've started. And when we're not at risk of great bodily harm, we don't get to use lethal tools. And a car is a lethal tool. As I watch this one, I don't know that anybody really covered their ass, but hopefully the rest of us can at least learn some lessons so that when our day comes, we can.